I think you and I were saying, what are we going to do? It was a pretty sad time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We were depressed.
It seems like this.
For more than 60 years, Bill Gaither's name has been known all over the world as a symbol of gospel music and faith. He has written hundreds of songs that talk about hope, love, and the strength that comes from believing in God. His music has touched millions of hearts and continues to inspire people even today. When people hear the name Bill Gaither, they think of warm church gatherings, powerful harmonies, and songs that feel like prayers. But behind all the joy that people see on stage, there is another side of Bill's life that many do not know. His journey has not been easy. It is filled with hard work, sacrifices, and moments of sadness. As Bill Gaither approaches his 90th birthday, his story reminds us that even people who bring happiness to others often carry silent struggles within. His songs speak about heaven, peace, and faith, but they were born from real human experiences, pain, doubt, and the courage to keep believing when life was not easy. Today, as he grows older, many people wonder how he lives now, what keeps him going, and how he has managed to stay strong after so many years in the spotlight. Bill Gaither was born in the small town of Alexandria, Indiana. During the 1930s, life in his early years was simple, but full of faith. His family did not have much money, but they were rich in love, values, and belief in God. The church was the center of their lives, and young Bill spent many hours listening to hymns that would later shape his entire future. The songs he heard as a child touched his heart deeply. He didn't just hear the melodies, he felt the message behind them. While other children played outside, Bill found joy in writing little songs and singing them in church gatherings. His parents encouraged him to use his gift, and soon he realized that music was more than a hobby for him. It was his calling. These early days taught Bill that music could do more than entertain. It could heal, connect, and bring peace to people's hearts. Looking back, Bill often said that his small-town childhood gave him everything he needed for life: strong faith, humility, and a sense of purpose. The little boy who once sang in a small church would grow up to touch millions of people through songs that carried messages of hope and love. As Bill Gaither grew older, his passion for music only grew stronger. He believed that God had given him this gift for a reason, to serve others through song. While many young people at the time were dreaming of wealth or fame, Bill's dream was different. He wanted to write songs that could reach broken hearts and remind people that they were not alone. When he met Gloria, the woman who would become his wife and creative partner, that dream started to take a bigger shape. Gloria shared the same belief that music should be honest and real, reflecting both the joys and struggles of life. Together, they began to write songs that touched people in deep ways. Their lyrics spoke about faith in hard times, love in marriage, and trust in God when everything felt uncertain. Songs like Because He Lives and He Touched Me became anthems for churches all over the world. These were not just songs, they were prayers and melody. For Bill and Gloria, music was a ministry. They saw themselves as messengers rather than stars. What made their songs powerful was their truth. They were written from the heart, often during times when Bill and Gloria were facing their own challenges. That honesty gave their music a lasting impact that continues even today. In the 1960s, Bill Gaither's dream began to come to life in a big way. He formed a singing group called the BillGaitherTrio, which included Bill, Gloria, and his brother Danny. They started performing in small churches and community halls, singing songs that carried simple but powerful messages. People immediately connected with them because their music felt genuine. They didn't try to impress with fancy performances, they sang from the heart. As the trio's popularity grew, they began recording albums that soon spread across America. By the 1970s, the Gaither Trio had become one of the most well-known groups in Christian music. Their songs were played in homes, churches, and on radio stations everywhere. Yet, despite the fame, Bill remained humble. He often said that his success was not his own doing, but a blessing from God. He wanted his music to point people toward faith, not toward himself. The more he sang, the more people felt a deep emotional connection to his message. Behind every song was a story, often about perseverance, forgiveness, or hope. The Gaither Trio's journey proved that when music is made with sincerity and faith, it has the power to touch souls and change lives forever. In the 1980s and 1990s, Bill Gaither's influence reached new heights. He wanted to do more than sing. He wanted to build a community of gospel singers who could keep the music alive for generations. This dream gave birth to the famous Gaither Homecoming series, a project that changed Christian music forever. Bill began gathering gospel legends, many of them older artists who had once been famous but were now forgotten, and brought them all together on one stage. They sang, shared stories, and celebrated their faith in front of live audiences and TV cameras. What made these shows special was the sense of warmth and unity they created. People who watched the homecoming programs felt like they were part of a big family of believers. It wasn't about showmanship, it was about connection, history, and shared love for gospel music. Through these gatherings, Bill not only honored the pioneers of gospel, but also gave new artists a chance to shine. The Homecoming series became one of the most loved and respected programs in Christian entertainment. For Bill, this was not just a show, it was a mission. He was building a bridge between the past and the future, ensuring that the message of faith through song would never fade away. From the outside, Bill Gaither's life looked perfect, full of achievements, awards, and admiration. But behind the scenes, he carried heavy responsibilities and personal struggles that few people ever saw. Managing concerts, albums, and a ministry of that size required endless energy. Bill spent years traveling from city to city, performing, organizing, and producing music. It was inspiring work, but it was also exhausting. There were times when he felt completely drained, both physically and emotionally. The pressure to keep everything running smoothly sometimes became overwhelming. He faced seasons of doubt and sadness, wondering if he could continue carrying such a big burden. Yet, even during those hard moments, his faith never completely faded. Bill often turned his struggles into songs, using music as a way to process pain and renew his spirit. Many of his most touching songs were written during these low times. This is what makes his story so powerful. His joy did not come from an easy life, but from learning how to trust God in the hardest seasons. Even now, at almost 90 years old, he admits that growing older has brought new challenges. His health is not what it once was, and he cannot perform as often. But the light in his heart, the one that started in that small Indiana church, still shines. What has kept Bill Gaither going all these years is his unshakable faith and love for people. He believes that music has the power to heal broken hearts and bring comfort to those in pain. Through every hardship, Bill held on to that belief. When critics doubted him, when success became stressful, and when age began to slow him down, his faith reminded him of his true purpose, to serve through music. Gloria, his wife, has often said that Bill's strength comes from his deep trust in God's plan. Even when life didn't make sense, he kept believing that every struggle had meaning. That perseverance is what sets him apart. He is not just a songwriter, he is a man who turned his faith into a lifelong testimony. His songs are sung in hospitals, funerals, and worship gatherings across the world, bringing peace to people who need it most. Though his body may be weaker now, his spirit remains strong. To this day, he continues to write, mentor young artists, and share his story. His life teaches us that true greatness is not about fame or comfort, it is about faithfulness, even when the road is hard. Bill Gaither's story reminds us that we can find beauty, even in life's hardest moments if we keep believing. Bill Gaither's influence reaches far beyond his own lifetime. The songs he and Gloria wrote have become timeless pieces of worship that continue to bless people across generations. Because He Lives, one of his most famous songs, has been sung in hospitals, at funerals, and during times of crisis, reminding people that no matter what happens, there is always hope. His Homecoming series has given hundreds of gospel artists a platform to share their voices with the world. Through his work, Bill has created not just music but a movement, one that celebrates faith, unity, and compassion. Even as he nears 90, Bill's message remains powerful. Life may be filled with challenges, but faith can turn pain into purpose. Many fans feel sadness knowing that Bill can no longer perform as often as before. His age and health have slowed him down, and his once busy days are now quieter. But even in this season of life, he continues to inspire. His quiet moments at home are filled with reflection, gratitude, and prayer. The sadness in his later years is not from regret. It comes from the slowing pace of a man who once gave everything to his calling. In recent years, life has slowed down for Bill Gaither. After decades of non-stop concerts, travel, and studio work, he now spends most of his days in quiet reflection. The stage lights that once shone so brightly are dimmed, and the crowds that once sang along with him have grown older too. But even in this silence, his presence is powerful. Those who visit him say his home feels peaceful, almost sacred. He spends much of his time surrounded by the memories of a lifetime awards, old photos, and handwritten lyrics from songs that changed lives. Yet, there is also a gentle sadness that hangs in the air. For someone who spent his life giving joy to others, the slowing of time feels heavy. His health has weakened with age, and performing is no longer easy. Still, he smiles when he talks about the old days, especially when remembering the laughter and love he shared with his wife, Gloria. She remains by his side, offering care and companionship. Together, they've learned that aging brings both gratitude and grief. Bill often says that while his voice may not be as strong, his faith is stronger than ever. The man who once filled arenas now finds peace in small, quiet moments, reading scripture, praying, and thanking God for a life that has touched millions. Growing older has not been easy for Bill. Like many people in their later years, he faces the reality of lost friends, health problems, and a slower pace of life. Many of his fellow gospel singers and lifelong friends have passed away. The Homecoming family that once filled the stage with joyful songs is now smaller, and that loss weighs heavily on him. Bill has admitted in interviews that one of the hardest parts of getting older is saying goodbye to people who were part of his journey. Each loss reminds him of how quickly time passes. Physically, he has faced several health challenges that make travel and performing difficult. There are days when pain and fatigue make it hard to even pick up a guitar. For a man who lived his entire life through music, not being able to sing as freely feels like losing a part of himself. Yet, even in those moments of sadness, Bill finds comfort and faith. He says that God is still teaching him lessons about patience, humility, and the beauty of stillness. Though these final chapters of his life carry moments of loneliness, they also reveal a deeper peace. Bill believes that his purpose now is not to perform, but to encourage others who are also growing old to keep believing, to stay thankful, and to trust that God's work in their lives isn't finished yet. The Gaither Homecoming series was one of the greatest joys of Bill's career, and even now, its memory brings both happiness and sorrow. Over the years, he gathered hundreds of gospel singers, legends who had inspired generations to sing together in love and harmony. Those concerts weren't just about music. They were about family. Everyone on stage felt a sense of belonging, and audiences could feel it too. Now, many of those singers are gone, and their absence has left an ache in Bill's heart. He often rewatches old homecoming videos, not for vanity, but to remember his friends. Each song is a time capsule, preserving moments of joy, laughter, and fellowship. Viewers around the world still watch those recordings, keeping the homecoming spirit alive. It is touching to think that what started as one man's idea to honor gospel music has become a lasting piece of history. Even though the gatherings no longer happen like they used to, their influence continues to grow. Young gospel artists still talk about how those shows inspired them to begin singing. For Bill, that is the greatest comfort, knowing that even though the people may be gone, their voices and their faith live on. The sadness of loss is real, but so is the joy of knowing that his work helped preserve something eternal. One of the strongest parts of Bill Gaither's story is his lifelong love with Gloria. Their partnership has lasted for more than 60 years, in music, in faith, and in marriage. Together, they wrote more than 700 songs, performed on countless stages, and raised a family while balancing fame and ministry. They often said that their secret was simple. They always put God at the center of their relationship. Through every success and every hardship, they leaned on their shared faith to keep them strong. In his later years, Bill often speaks about Gloria with deep affection. He calls her not only his wife but his inspiration. She has been his partner in every sense, writing lyrics when he was tired, praying with him during difficult seasons, and sharing the joy of their musical victories. Now, as they both grow older, they face the challenges of aging together. They spend more time at home, surrounded by family, reflecting on a life well lived. Gloria often says that their love has only grown stronger with time, even as the world around them changes. Watching them together, you can see that their bond is something rare and beautiful, a testimony to faith, friendship, and the promise of never giving up on each other. Their story is proof that love, rooted in faith, can endure every storm. If Bill Gaither could sum up his life in one message, it would be this: keep your eyes on God, even when life hurts. He has learned through experience that faith is not about avoiding pain, but about finding strength in it. The challenges he faced, whether exhaustion from constant touring, the loss of close friends, or the struggles of growing older, all shaped him into the man he is today. Bill often says that his songs came from real moments of life, not from theory or imagination. When he wrote Because He Lives, he and Gloria had just gone through a difficult time, and that song became their way of reminding themselves that hope never dies. The same is true for many of his other songs. They were born from tears as much as joy. Through them, he learned that God uses pain to create beauty, that weakness can become a source of strength, and that service to others brings the greatest peace. Young artists who visit Bill today often ask for advice, and his answer is always simple: stay humble, stay true, and let your songs come from the heart. His life is living proof that when your purpose is pure, success will follow in ways you never expected. Bill Gaither's influence did not end with his own generation. The seeds he planted through his music and ministry continue to grow in the lives of younger artists. Many of today's leading Christian singers and worship leaders credit Bill for inspiring them to pursue their calling. He has always been passionate about mentoring young talent, reminding them that gospel music is not just about performing, it's about serving. Over the years, countless artists who once appeared shy and unsure on his stage have gone